Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday Matters. Welcome to the middle of the week. Welcome to the middle of whatever it is you're involved in, I would suspect. Welcome to a new way to look at your life and your spirituality and to connect with spirit. To let your life become all that it really is meant to be. That's what we're here for. To inspire, hopefully, to uplift, to heal, to pray, to do good stuff together, and to make the world, our world, a better place. Simply by being in it and knowing who we really are. So, good evening, Dana. Good evening, Brenda. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to All Possibilities. That seems to be my phrase lately. I'm going to shift here. That's better. I feel better in the middle of things. My phrase in the last 24 hours. Yeah, I get things stuck in my head. And what has been stuck in my head is all things are possible. And you know, the more I think about that, the more excited I get. And the more part of me goes, really? And another part of me says, really? Really? All things are possible. If we really got into what it means, we'd be transformed. The world would be transformed. We just have to begin knowing that it really is true and that it really does work and that we really can work it. All things are possible. Jennifer, hello, darling. Glad you're here. Will Kirk be joining us or is he working late again? We miss him when he's not here. Though. And glad Brenda's here and glad Dana's here. How is everybody doing? How are your families? How are your bodies? How are your minds? How are you doing right now? Right now, before we get into the talk and all the rest of that, what's going on and how are you doing? Hi, Jefferson. Well, it loves you too. Glad you're here. You know, it really is kind of Wednesday Night Live, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of off the top of my head and a lot of informal, which Wednesday Night Live always was. And I like that. I like kind of the informality of it. I like being able to connect. I also like wearing casual clothes, so that all works for me. Kirk is working tonight. Okay, tell him we miss him, we love him, and I hope he'll check in later and listen. And oh, look at the pouty face. Oh, yeah, that's how I feel too. Tell him we all pouted. 1, 2, 3. Everybody pout because Kirk isn't here because he's working tonight. Love you, Kirk. So what's the bit tough part, Brenda? What can we do? What can we support you in knowing? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jen. I mean, we know we all have to do it at some point or another, but it's never easy. It's never easy. Jefferson says he missed being able to see my fabulous shoes. The ones tonight aren't so fabulous. I'm going to keep them under the table. So that's the trouble with being casual, isn't it? And working from home. Loungewear, a friend of mine calls it. Loungewear. Susan, blessed to have you here, darling. So glad that you're here. Look at that, everybody chiming in with me. Yes. So, Jen, how can we support you this week? What can we know for you that you're going through a difficult time, but I don't want to affirm the difficulty of it. That just is part of the is. So, what can we. Jefferson, Jefferson, darling, this is for you. Which way do I want to go? There's one. Rose gold and gold. And yeah, those are good. Those are good. And of course, Jefferson's going to love this. Let's hold on. I just never know which way to go. There we go. Okay, Jeff. We okay for tonight? Thank you, technical department.
You're welcome.
So Jen, what can we know for you, darling? Yeah, well, Grace, happily, and health and guidance, yes. Support for you, darling. She's going to be fine. But it's hard. And I want to be knowing for you the highest and greatest and a full heart. A full heart, knowing that you're doing what needs to be done because you love her. And that she is surrounded by love, as are you. Anything else, you know how to get hold of me. So please do that. Okay. I'm here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you are. I don't have to tell you, Jen, do I? That you are surrounded by love. Because that's what you attract. And you're coming from love and doing what needs to be done. It's never easy, is it? Hard to let go of the people we love. But you're doing the right thing, and I know you, so I know you're doing it in the right way and for all the right reasons. And we love you. Okay. So, who else? Brenda's had a hard week. What's going on, guys? We finally got somebody new in the White House. So, here's a question for you. Because there's a lot to be grateful for, isn't there? There's a lot to be grateful for. So, we'll be grateful for that, and we'll still deal with those things we're maybe not feeling quite so grateful for. What if you could proclaim a day of miracles? Just asking. What if you could? What if you could just say, oh, tomorrow, for instance, is a day of miracles. What would you ask for? What would you be willing to accept? I love this. Jennifer's already finding a blessing in what's going on. Hi, Lainey. Hi, darling. we're talking about stuff. And well, let me just bounce into this, if you don't mind. We're surrounding Jennifer with our love and our prayers. And Dana for peace. And Brenda so let me just jump into this. Because we might find some answers in it. I specifically said tomorrow because, well, maybe you've heard, but something very special is happening tomorrow. And you can get in on it. Well, it's for everyone, and it's free, and it's cosmic, really. And it promises to be life-changing. Everyone who is anyone in some very special circles is going to be part of it. And you can be part of it too. You can just opt in. Here's the deal. Tomorrow, the sun, yes, the sun in the sky, and the planet Jupiter come into conjunction in a very special way, creating a very special occurrence. And that occurrence, astrologers have taken to calling the Day of Miracles. We can only assume because miracles keep happening on that day. The article that I read said, while we believe that miracles are what you make of them, we'll always welcome the extra cosmic help. And the life-giving sun and generous Jupiter are always happy to supply that. Generous Jupiter, well, I like that. So the dictionary, the article said, defines a miracle as a surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws, and is therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. Hello, God and Company. What miracles can we create for you today? All right. A Course in Miracles makes it even simpler, stating that a miracle is simply a shift in perception from fear to love. Maybe. The article goes on. With Jupiter, the God planet, lending his Midas touch, the divine will certainly be present. And the radiant, confident sun gives us the courage to move away from our fears. So there you have it. Confidence, moving away from fear. Now, I've always simply defined a miracle as an occurrence that you just didn't expect to happen, which actually is not what this is. Jupiter typically changes signs every 12 to 13 months, so each year it holds court with the sun in a new zodiac sign. This year's annual Day of Miracles takes place in Aquarius, the zodiac's free-spirited sign of community, technology, and idealistic missions. Anybody out there an Aquarian? So even though it may arrive at a different house each year, Aquarius, Libra, Sagittarius, pick one, I suppose it eventually gets everywhere, it is, in fact, expected. It's kind of like a rotating guest. You might want to whip out your journal and redraft those 2021 resolutions, because according to the astrologers, you're going to be thinking big tomorrow, which will help you set intentions worthy of a brand new decade. The article says, are you ready to see things with 2021 vision? The Sun-Jupiter conjunction will widen your viewpoint finder. This year, incidentally, the Day of Miracles also coincides with the first full moon of 2021, which falls in bold and pioneering Leo. So we are advised to lean into Jupiter's supersizing influence and go big. So I found that pretty exciting. I mean, a day of miracles. So I looked up some more, and here's more information. Ophira and Tali Edut, E-D-U-T, are known as the Astro Twins. And they are professional astrologers based out of New York and Seattle. Their work has been featured in the New York Times and Elle Magazine and Vogue and Good Morning America, and they're the authors of Astrostyle, Love Zodiac, Shoestrology. Jefferson, are you paying attention? Shoestrology and Momstrology. Anyway, here's what they had to say. The new year charges in with lots of action, as if making up for lost time. Well, I get that. After surviving 2020, it seems to me there's a whole lot of lost time to be making up. So, they say, this January, we've got our sights set on January 28th, tomorrow. The year's first full moon in showy Leo, there's Leo again, and the annual Sun-Jupiter conjunction, now known as the Day of Miracles. Here's another interesting fact. For nearly 2 weeks, from January 14th through the 30th, there will be zero, zip, nada, no retrograde planets. That can be a great time to make important decisions and assume that you're relatively safe doing it. Enjoy the miracles, the twins say, and the high-speed chase of your dreams, because it isn't going to last. Oh, from January 30th to February 20th, good old Mercury will turn retrograde in Aquarius, pressing pause on our sky-high visions. They say as January begins, we get an IMAX theater view of the key tension that will shape 2021, the pull between the old and the new. Oh, we're seeing that, aren't we? The technological and the terrestrial, the ideological and the pragmatic. And the reason they say that this struggle is so palpable and pivotal is that both Saturn and Taurus are known for defending the way things are, for resisting change and conducting cautious due diligence before signing on any dotted lines. On the flip side, Uranus and Aquarius are change agents, rushing into radical rebellion and reform, ready to throw out the baby with the bathwater that Saturn and Taurus are still contentedly soaking in. So, what do you do? Do you defend the status quo and try to protect what is? Or do you join the rebels and push for change? More specifically, what are you going to do? You who are watching, listening to this, whatever this is. What are you going to do? I mean, you, us, we spiritual types. What are you going to do with all this information? You can, of course, choose to ignore the whole thing and just figure that I've gone off the rails tonight. All things are possible. Or you can start writing up your list of miracles just in case there really is something to all of this. I mean, what if? All things are possible. You don't want to pass up a miracle, do you? Or you can start another list for all the things you need to get out of the way or lock up or finalize or put on hold before Mercury goes retrograde on the 30th. After all, things do seem to be more difficult during those retro periods, and all screwed up things seem to be possible when Mercury's dancing backwards. Yet another astrologer, Aurora Star. Do you love that? Aurora Star has an interesting take on all of this. She says, so while you are soaking up this great day of miracle stuff, please be aware that you can't just sit on it. In just about 4 days, Mercury, the planet of thinking, communication, and technology, will be moving backwards in the sign of Aquarius. Normally, Mercury retrogrades can be pretty frustrating. I mean, she says, your mind seems unclear and it becomes a little harder to communicate your thoughts. Not to mention, the outlets for communication seem to just stop working out of nowhere. For instance, on a collective level, everyone's phones start to act up, and your computers, I might add, so be careful. You might lose track of appointments and may play phone tag with loved ones or even miss a few important emails. Yeah. And, she says, this will be especially prevalent when the retrograde takes place in the sign of Aquarius because Aquarius rules technology, social media, and electronics. Oh, grand. And it's going to last from January 30th to February 20th, so it's not going to do you any good to just turn your computer off for one day and hope it all goes away. It's not gonna. More importantly, she says, Mercury retrogrades teach you to release control and trust that everything happens for a reason. Even the frustrating things that seem to just throw your whole day and quite possibly your whole week or your whole life out of whack. With this retrograde taking place in an air sign, I would highly recommend relying on tools that can help you relax and move away from anxiety. Breathing is recommended. Meditation. May I suggest prayer? Air signs, she says, rule the mental state. So the more that you resist the universe's push to release control, the harder this retrograde will be. Maximize this energy, she says. I would really like to help change the stigma of Mercury retrograde in the spiritual community, starting with helping you realize that the universe wouldn't initiate these phases if they weren't beneficial to you in the long term. What? What? Remember, she says, the universe isn't ever working against you. Everything that takes place is for your highest good. Mercury retrogrades help us become more detail-oriented because you'll be more likely to double-check things before doing them. Well, if you're paying attention. They also cause you to sit with your thoughts, possibly even writing them down before you say them so that they can be communicated clearly. These are all good things to practice. Although it can take a little more time out of your day, just try to flow with these changes and learn what you can. Thanks, Aurora. So, what can we learn? Well, we can learn a little about astrology. We can learn a little about retrograde planets and how that works. We can learn to take care of the details in our life and to communicate as clearly as we possibly can. We can learn a little about the possibility of miracles in our lives. And just maybe we can learn a whole lot about ourselves if we pay attention. So, tomorrow, the day of miracles, what do you choose to believe? What will you choose to do? And then when Mercury goes into retrograde, what will you choose to believe? And what will you choose to do? In case you're wondering, and you might have been, I was, Ernest Holmes said to forget the whole astrology thing. Specifically, he said, claim that no form of race suggestion, belief in limitation, subjective idea of limitation, thoughts of karma, fatalism, theology, or hell, interestingly he puts them together, horoscope, or any other false belief has power. Accept none of them. If you have ever believed in them, if you have ever believed that the stars govern you, or that your environment governs you, or that your opportunities govern you, recognize this as a hypnotic condition into which you have fallen, and deny every one of them until there is no longer anything in you that believes in them. Wow. Now, I've heard that before he died, Ernest was looking into a lot of different things. And while I don't claim to know what he felt or discovered, I do believe this, that the operative words in that last paragraph were not stars or karma or horoscope, but rather, if you have believed. And he tells us to deny every one of them until there is no longer anything in us that believes in them. It is my belief that he is speaking to not the object of our belief, stars, karma, theology. Because, well, in case you haven't really heard it before, it is done unto us as we believe. You heard it here. Let me go to Shakespeare for a moment. Ernest Holmes to Shakespeare. That works for me. I think belief may be what Shakespeare was trying to talk to us about when he had Cassius say, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. That we are underlings." And I'd like to add from a metaphysical point of view that Cassius, while quite smart, was a little off base. He might better have said, the fault, if there is one, rather the responsibility, dear friend, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we believe we are underlings. But clearly that was his point. They were not underlings. Certainly not to Caesar. They were all pretty much equals at that point. He believed they should take a stand for that. Now, I'm not sure that I agree with the stand that they ultimately took and the actions that were taken on the Ides of March. But I do agree with the idea that they and we are not underlings, even though we may think we are. And I agree with the idea that it is not the stars or the circumstances or the gods that determine our fate, but rather our thinking and our actions based on that thinking that make the ultimate difference. Now, here's an interesting little note from history. According to Plutarch, a seer had warned Caesar that harm would come to him no later than the Ides of March. On his way to the theater of Pompeii, where he would ultimately be assassinated, Caesar passed the seer and joked, "The Ides of March have come," meaning to say that the prophecy had not been fulfilled. To which the seer replied, "Aye, Caesar, but not gone." So tomorrow the miracle day will come. A day filled with miracles. Don't you feel it? Don't you anticipate it? Aren't you ready for it? And then it will go, followed by a Mercury retrograde. What are you going to do about it? Here's a thought. Accept. Just start by accepting that tomorrow will be, for you, a day of miracles. Not because the astrologers say it will, because they may be right and they may not be right, but because you say it will. And it's just fine if the astrologers agree with you. After all, where two or more are gathered thinking the same thing, there in the midst of their thinking is God. And where God is, well, where God is, since all things are possible, miracles happen. And then accept that Mercury retrograde is coming and that it seems to affect some people. That's interesting. And may be accurate. After all things are possible. But accept that at the same time, whatever is happening in your life is happening for your highest good, no matter how frustrating it may be. As Aurora Star said, the universe isn't ever working against you. Everything that takes place is for your highest good. Accept that. So bring it on, Mercury. Bring it on. Do your backward dance. I can welcome it because I know it is here to help create my highest good. I welcome that. I accept that. I'm excited by that, and I can't wait to see exactly what that is, because I know if it's for my highest good, it's gonna be wonderful. And here's another idea. Plan on accepting an annual day of miracles. According to the astrologers, there is one every year. You might have to search a little to find it, but it's there. I would assume it's 12 to 13 months from tomorrow. So just put it on your 2022 calendar to long about the end of January or the middle of January. Google Day of Miracles. Or better yet, proclaim your own annual Day of Miracles. You can do that. Pick a day. You can make it annually on January 28th, or you can make it on your birthday, or, well, you can put it wherever you want it, because why? All things are possible. Or what about your own annual week of miracles? Why limit it to a day? And why limit to a day that somebody else has chosen for their reasons? Choose your own. Or your own year of miracles. I mean, after 2020, don't you deserve a year of miracles? Why not make it this one? Or what about year after year of miracles? All things are possible if you believe. And why would you not want to believe that? a life of miracles. Yours. Your life of miracles. Proclaimed by you, accepted by you, initiated by you, created by you, because all things are possible. I like it. And if we decide for ourselves that we'll take in tomorrow as well, who knows what may happen? A day of miracles, followed by a life of miracles. Retrograde or no. Bring it on, Mercury. We're ready. And so it is. I'm ready. Are you? Are you? I heard that rumor, Brenda. On the Miracle Day. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brenda. Happy birthday to you. Isn't that terrific? Brenda's birthday's on a day of miracles. Yes! No, I guess so, Brenda. Claim it. Claim it. My birthday is a day of miracles, so I'll support you in it. Okay? Good. Your miracle? Yes, Jennifer, it will. Because you claimed it. I swear I've told this story before. Now, I'm not going to tell the whole thing. I'll just allude to it. But there was a time in my life when I was looking for a path and some answers, and I was feeling pretty desperate about it. And I finally said, God, a note falling out of the sky. I'm with you. Pay attention here. A note falling out of the sky and onto my desk or into my lap would be terrific, because if there are other signs out there, I must be missing them. So please, just a little note drifting out of the sky and falling on my desk. I hadn't even considered how it was going to get through the roof. It didn't matter. Note. The phone rang. And it was somebody I deeply respected who said simply, why don't you go into ministry? I think you'd be great at it. It happens. Miracles happen. Miracles happen. So, hang in there, Jen. It's coming. Hi, Sandy. Glad you're here. Good. Thank you for singing along. Anybody can sing along, drown me out. So, what are we going to wish for Brenda on her birthday? on the day of miracles. I'm simply going to wish for a miracle for you. Something wonderful and unaccepted or unexpected. Better be accepted. Miracle shows up, you take it, girl. You take it because you deserve it. And if it's there for you, it's yours. So just say yes. Lainey's making plans. Yay! See, too often I think we say it will take a miracle because whatever it is we want seems so big and so untouchable, ungraspable. We say it'll take a miracle, but then we don't turn around and say, and I accept the miracle. So we put it out there, out of our reach, and then walk away from it. I'm going to insist, for whatever it's worth, that all of you, that anyone hearing this, will accept a miracle, at least one tomorrow. At least one. You can have more than one if you want. I don't think God dishes them out one at a time necessarily. But sometimes a miracle is so big, the phone call that I got that day, so big you don't need anything else. It changed my life. And I know that by extension it has changed other lives. Miracles. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I accept all the miracles that Spirit has in store for me tomorrow and forever. Amen.
So it is.
There you go. There you go. All right. Perfect health. Okay, Lainey. Yes, well-being. Let's all buy lotto tickets. Men, we should have done this last week. Well, buy them anyway. All right, you guys. Miracles do happen all the time. All the time. We don't see them because we're looking for something else. We think they're supposed to look a special way. And we don't always see them. And sometimes they just hit us over the head like a 2x4, you know? Hello, I'm a miracle. Pay attention. Pay attention. Please. Because your life will change for the better. Will. Pay attention. Tomorrow, I want you to really be on the lookout for miracles. Question everything. Is that a miracle? Is that a miracle? Is that a miracle? And just because it looks perfectly natural, don't tell yourself it's not a miracle. The phone ringing the day that it did for me was a perfectly natural occurrence. The phone rings all the time. Just wasn't always the person on the other end that was the same. It changed my life. It can change yours. But you have to accept it first. So, first order of business, accepting that tomorrow is a day of miracles. Yeah, our little kitty Socrates needs a wellness miracle too. We'll accept that. We'll take it. Don't ask. Miracles happen. And where two or more are gathered, right in the middle of all of that is creation. And there are more than two of us here. So if we collectively accept miracles in our collective life, what might happen? What amazing, miraculous, joyous, life transforming, exciting, beautiful things might happen. Hmm? Hmm? Well, that sounds like a lead into prayer if ever I've heard one. Why don't we go there? So, close your eyes if that's comfortable. You know the drill. Or just soft focus so that your attention is moving within where the power is and not deflected by distractions. And know with me that you are never alone. God is where you are right now. You have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, you are protected, you are sustained, and you are inspired by a God that knows only good. God that has provided unlimited beauty, everlasting life, and all that our senses can perceive, as well as that which our heart and our spirit perceives. All like an unlimited postcard from the infinite, saying to us simply, know ye not that ye are God's, children of the Most High, capable of wonders, capable of the miraculous. Let us then put aside our littleness. Let us silence our excuses. Let us be lifted up by our faith. And let us be part of the miracle. Let us claim for ourselves today, tomorrow, forever, the wonder-working power of Spirit in each one of our lives, ready to transform, ready to heal, ready to cure, ready to create, ready to change our world, ready to change the world. And let us be excited about the possibilities. Let us not shy away from the power. We already have it. It is simply a matter of using it. We can start small if we must, or we can jump in. The choice is always our own. The universe has our back. God calls us forward. And we accept tonight that tomorrow will be a day filled with miracles. All signs point to it. And we accept the miracles. We see them, we recognize them, we acknowledge them, and we allow them to be all that they can be in our lives. A day of miracles, followed by another day of miracles, followed by another day of miracles. And we accept them all. We put them to use in our lives and in our world in ways that we cannot in this moment even begin to imagine. But in the acceptance of this, each day becomes holy. And each day we move closer to the recognition of the presence that surrounds and infuses us and motivates us and inspires us and gives us life. In deepest gratitude, we simply accept it and let it be so. And so it is. It's going to be a big day tomorrow, my friends. Get some rest. Save your spiritual energy for doing something powerfully good. I'm glad you're here, Heidi. Your clock will be just fine. You're all going to be just fine. Enjoy your day of miracles. Do something outrageous with them. Learn more tomorrow, simply by observing. Know ye not that ye are gods? Not my words. Look them up if you must. I'm looking forward to a very exciting day tomorrow for all of us. Sleep well. Go with God. Ultimately, you can go no other way. Our technical department has posted a link to yet another closing song. I don't know how she does it. Must be a miracle. See you Sunday. Be prepared to tell me all about the miracles in your life. I love you. I bless you. Good night.